The Panthers just got some bad news. With injuries continuing to pile up as the Panthers running back room takes a hit, can the Panthers overcome yet another setback on their roster? What's going on, guys? It's Tanner Blue, Carolina Panthers Digest. Hope you were doing well. It's Friday, it's almost Friday. We are a day closer to the Panthers regular season opener and a day closer to the preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. Guys, but before we get there, we got to talk about the latest news, and unfortunately, it is not what we want to see. Injuries continue to plague the Panthers roster. Guys, before we get into it, you know the drill. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We are almost at 500 subscribers. Getting close. Thank you guys so much for your commitment and tuning into the videos and being active, leaving comments. I enjoy talking Panthers football with you guys every day. Want to make sure you stay with us because we're talking updates, rumors, unfortunately, any type of injury news that happens, and then regular season games as the season gets going. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Guys, let's get into it. We're going to be talking about Mr. Chuba Hubbard. Unfortunately, Chuba has gone down with a hamstring injury. We know last year he had a similar injury. He was out for 2 games and came back, but never really quite seemed the same until maybe later on in the season. I think it took him a while to come back and truly get into form. But it was reported that Chuba has gone down with a hamstring injury and is week to week. So let's get into the article, see what they've got to say, and see what the latest is on our man Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Brooks was going to get some runs with the ones anyway, and now he might get a little more. Panthers head coach Dave Canales said that starting running back Chuba Hubbard had a legit hamstring and would be considered week to week. Hubbard felt something grab during one-on-ones Wednesday, so he was taken for an MRI. Canales said the hope is that Hubbard will be ready for the regular season opener. We're going to get him some treatment, Canales said, very confident he'll be ready for game 1, trying to get him out there sooner than that, but again, we'll be smart about it. We'll get him back in the appropriate time. In the short term, Canales said Brooks and Trevor Etienne will split some with the first group Saturday against the Bills, with A.J. Dillon ready as well. Those 3 should get most of the work with the first group. Brooks hasn't appeared in a game since his second ACL tear in Week 14 of the 2024 season, missing all of last season as he recovered. There you have it, folks. Chuba Hubbard week to week with a hamstring injury. Okay, let's talk the good and the bad. Obviously, the bad, Chuba goes down with an injury. The good part is that it doesn't seem like it's going to be long-term. It seems like he's going to be able to come back relatively quickly. But hamstring injuries, man, they're one of those injuries that really can plague you throughout the season. You suffer one in the preseason, you're dealing with it maybe the rest of the year, at least halfway through the season. And last year we saw it. Chuba had a hamstring injury. He missed only 2 games, but it didn't seem like he was quite ready to come back. I think he was just obviously didn't want to lose his spot to Rico Dowdle, who was just going nuts there for a few games for the Panthers. So he comes back maybe a little too early, and I don't think he really showed signs of his former self until later on in the season. So this is one of those things where I got to agree with Canales. I know it sucks, but unfortunately, bring him back when he's ready. Don't rush him back week 1. The Panthers can be without him for at least a game. But this is going to put some pressure on some other guys, which is really what I want to talk about here in a second. But hopefully Chuba Hubbard can get healthy. But it is unfortunate to see him go with another hamstring injury. Hopefully it's not long-term. He's able to get healthy, and it doesn't plague him throughout the regular season. But, we'll see what happens. And Chuba last year, you take a look at his stats. Obviously, he was splitting some carries there with Rico Dowdle. But it was one of those things where, he really started to kind of come together as the season went on. I got the stats pulling up down here at the bottom. Played 15 games, had over 500 yards rushing. Certainly not at his 1,000-yard pace that he's been accustomed to. Only 1 rushing touchdown, but he was splitting carries, only 134 carries. But again, he also did some nice things in the receiving game. He had 30 catches and 223 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. So not bad in terms of the pass-catching game, something that Chuba has improved upon as his career has progressed. One of the last players left of the Matt Rule era, I believe it's just him and Brady Christensen and guys that were drafted by Matt Rule in that era. So I could be wrong on that, but those are the only two guys that I distinctly remember being left on the roster. So while this is unfortunate for Chuba and you hate to see him go down, this does present another opportunity for another guy. Someone who was unfortunately no stranger to injuries. That is going to be Mr. Jonathan Brooks, the third year man out of Texas who has gone down with back-to-back seasons with ACL injuries. Obviously sat out, that first season due to an injury, and then came back, played a few snaps there in the 2024 season, and he was injured again. But let's take a look at it from a positive perspective. They always say you can't lose your job due to injury. I disagree, because this is, while unfortunate for the circumstances, this is Jonathan Brooks' chance to show what he can do. He's been injured, but he stayed consistent. He's worked hard. He's got back to where he needs to be. If he can stay healthy, he potentially has these next two preseason games, I would say, to show what he can do. And then at worst, he also has the regular season game against the Bears, week 1. If Chuba's not ready or good to go, he's not 100%, they're not going to play him. This is Jonathan Brooks' team. So he has got the perfect opportunity to show what he can do. You talk about Jonathan Brooks, he has that opportunity. You want to see him really come out and look good, look strong, not just for the team, but just for himself. He's been through a lot, really pulling for him. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got guys like Trevor Etienne, who is a second-year player. He's done a few things here and there, but this could be his opportunity to show that he could be a number 2 or 3 back in a system. And then you've also got a veteran like A.J. Dillon, who I really feel like a lot of people are sleeping on. The guy's a bruiser. I think they call him Quadzilla. I mean, he's an absolute beast, a short yardage back. And I know, last week we played, some backups and things in the preseason game, but he looked good. I mean, he had a rushing touchdown. He was breaking tackles. I think people are underestimating how much value he brings to the running back room. And then you've got a few other guys on that roster like Miles Davis and some of those other guys that were getting some burn there in the preseason game last week, who now have this opportunity to get some playing time here in these next few games and show what they can do. Obviously, Chuba Hubbard will be on this football team. He is not in danger of being cut, but he does give the opportunity, with him being gone, to slide some other guys up who need the reps, who want to show what they can do, and now they have that opportunity. So as we see going in against the Buffalo Bills, the starters, as we've talked about, are going to get 10 to 20 reps, maybe a quarter of football or half a quarter of football. And it looks like Jonathan Brooks is going to be that guy. So I'm sure he's nervous. He's probably also very excited. He's happy for the challenge. He gets the opportunity to show why the Panthers drafted him. And let's hope he can come out, get a nice few plays, and stay healthy and just get to the next game and just build on that and continue to go as the season progresses. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Unfortunately, we're talking about another injury, but it doesn't seem major. Hopefully, Chuba's good to go week 1 and we can put it behind us. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We're closing in on 500 subs. And as always, keep pounding. We'll see you on the next one.